Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. I'm Carol Gable, President of the Board. Whether you are visiting for the first time or have been a member for many years, you are welcome here. Whatever faith you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are invited to bring our whole selves to this worship service, our doubts as well as our convictions, the pain and joy we have known, our longing for connection and understanding. Every part of you is welcome here. Our congregation acknowledges that the land on which UUUtica is situated is the ancestral lands of the Oneida Nation, one of the original nations of the Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois people. If you are visiting us for the first time today, either in person or online, we are glad you've joined us. We'd love to learn more about you and connect you with our newsletter if you like. There's a link in the chat online to a form that we hope any online visitors would fill out, and we hope you'll stay for informal conversation here afterwards or in breakout sessions on Zoom. We have a few announcements today. One is that we recently received notice that the New York State Convention of Universalists has approved our grant request for $1,500 to support these hybrid services. We're grateful for their support. The other is that the UU Ministry for Earth has announced an initiative, Spring for Change, a season of sacred activism. It will start March 20th, the spring equinox, and go through May 22nd, the International Day for Biodiversity. UUs and friends are invited to embody the transformational, regenerative power of spring through sacred activism for Earth and all our relations. The spring 2022 theme for change is Get Rooted, Get Ready. Together we will get rooted in our faith communities, our spiritual practices, and our relationships to the ecosystems that we are home to. Several organizations such as the UU Ministry for Earth, UUSC, UUs for Social Justice, UUA at the UN have all partnered to organize a number of activities that you can take alone, together, or online to face the facts and forecasts of our climate and ecological crisis with courage, moral clarity, and a commitment to act for justice. Flyers listing all of these events are available in the back by the order of service. They're also available in the newsletter that went out yesterday. There's so much that you can do. And one other announcement is the New York UU for Justice organization that we are a part of is joining 300 other environmental groups in Albany this Tuesday, March 8th, to lobby for $15 billion of funding to be included in the budget in New York to fund renewable energy across the state. So many UUs will be there if you would like to join them. Yes, the recent report released by the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is dire, but we will not give up hope. Let us open our hearts and minds to the experience of community and the wisdom of love.
The call, excuse me, the call to worship today is by Leslie Takahashi. Worship means to consider that which has worth. Today we consider with gratitude the many gifts of this community, the opportunity to be affirmed in who we are and to offer that affirmation to others, the chance to stand up together to help remake the world in the ideal of justice. Freedom to choose one's own path to truth and to learn from the travelogues of others. The space to expand one's own spirit and to reconnect after busy or humdrum weeks with the sustaining truths of one's life. Regular reminders that we must see our world through the lens of love, and the aspiration to consider all life as precious, for if all of it is made of stardust, how can it not be wondrous? So this morning, let's welcome all of these gifts with gratitude, for they have been paid for with many currencies. Blood of the martyrs who died so that we can be free in our religion. Sweat of those who persisted in justice's name against hostility and adversity. The tears of those who struggle to build better lives for those in this life. Questions of our children as they understand the world anew and offer their understanding to us as a fresh lens. The laughter and joy of those giddy with the embrace of the community. The dollars and cents of those who gave what they could and stretched a little more. The infinite small acts of service that make the parts greater than the whole, done by those who knew themselves in sympathy with our purposes. So today we consider with gratitude and humility what it means to pay forward what has been paid forward to us. Now, with all of this, let us enter into worship with gladness in our hearts.
We light our chalice this morning, grateful for the love that we experience in this beloved community. May the flame light the way for all who seek such abundance. Now we will have a video for Together Time.
Sometimes we are selfish and don't even know it. Sometimes we're not happy and don't want to show it. Clarence the fox was both of these things, and when he saw others happy, it would make his heart sting. He thought, why is it so? I can't seem to see. Why happiness found them, but hasn't found me. Maybe it's this. I know what to do. If I find what they have, I'll find happiness too. So he set out to find what it was that they had, and soon he would know what was making them glad. First he came across Lucy, a kind bunny rabbit, and when it came to happiness, there was no doubt she had it. Clarence asked, Miss Lucy, my neighbor and friend, what makes you so happy from day's start to its end?
Oh, Clarence, my boy,
Lucy said with a smile.
if I gave all the reasons, it would sure take a while. But here is just one of the things I love most. Take my very best carrot. And now listen close. Giving is better, far better than getting. I know it may not seem true, but just try it once and you'll find what you're missing. That giving is better for me and for you.
Clarence ran off, thinking, that must be wrong. Giving is better? What an odd, silly song. Next thing he knew, Clarence ran into James, a chipmunk whose smile had brought him some fame. James, tell me, please, Clarence began inquiring, how can it be that you never stop smiling?
It's simple, my friend.
James quickly replied.
I'm thankful for all that I have in my life. Now have some of my acorns. I have plenty, you see. I've got less than I want, but more than I need. Giving is better, far better than getting. I know it may not seem true, but just try it once and you'll find what you're missing. That giving is better for me and for you.
As Clarence kept going, he thought like before, how can giving be better? Is less somehow more? Then he ran into Owen, a most unselfish moose. Maybe he'd know the way to help Clarence's blues. Owen, please help me. I can't seem to find why everyone's heart is more happy than mine. Owen responded with a big toothy grin.
I know what you're seeking. It's something within. If you search your own heart, it will soon become clear. but take my hat and scarf, as it's quite cold out here.
As Clarence was leaving, he heard Owen sing too.
Giving is better for me and for you.
I still don't get it, Clarence thought to himself. I have all these nice gifts, but they just haven't helped. And finding no answer, Clarence turned to go home, when he saw Willow the beaver looking sad and alone. Tell me, my friend, why are you so sad? Has something gone wrong that has made you feel bad?
It's nothing that happened.
Willow said with a tear.
It's about all of the things that I'm missing right here. You see, I'm building a snowman, but I cannot proceed, as I don't have the things that a good snowman needs. So instead, he's just plain, with no face to show. He won't be a real snowman, just 3 balls of snow.
Clarence wished he could help, but what could he do? How could he make Willow happy if he was sad too? Then Clarence remembered all the gifts in his pack, and perhaps to be happy, he should try giving back. So he said to Willow, I think I've got what you need. And all because others have been so kind to me. Clarence gave Willow the carrot, acorns, hat, and the scarf. Then she finished her snowman, and it warmed both their hearts. As he turned to go home, Clarence felt kind of strange. The sting in his heart had suddenly changed. Though his pack was now empty, his heart overflowed. Was it the things he had given, or the kindness he'd shown? Just then Clarence realized he had it all wrong. Trying just to be happy kept him sad all along. Owen was right, Clarence thought with a smile. There's something within that I've had all the while. Well, Clarence the fox was much happier now, and when others asked why, he would sing to tell how. Giving is better, far better than getting. I know it may not seem true, but just try it once and you'll find what you're missing, that giving is better for me and for you. Lily Row.
Family songs.
Now we have a reading, which is a Chinese parable. One day, an elephant saw a hummingbird lying on its back with its tiny feet up in the air. "What are you doing?" asked the elephant. The hummingbird replied, "I heard that the sky might fall today, so I'm ready to help hold it up should it fall." The elephant laughed cruelly. "Do you really think," he said, "that those tiny feet could hold up the sky?" The hummingbird kept his feet up in the air, intent on his purpose, as he replied, "Not alone, but each must do what he can, and this is what I can do."
This sermon was written by Reverend Bill Neely, who in 2017 was pastor of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton, New Jersey. The guy on the bus. When I was in the later years of grade school, I began taking the bus to the mall on weekends. I loved to watch movies, so I'd get on the local bus, go to the mall. I'd plan on seeing a movie and catching a few video games and go home again. We lived in an apartment complex that was sort of in the suburbs where the buses did not run often at all. Everything had to be timed out, or you could end up waiting a long time, possibly hours, for the next bus to come. And the bus fares, which were only cash then, had to be figured out in advance. The fare was that getting there was simple. I either had it or I didn't. If I didn't have it, I couldn't go. But I was worried about what would happen if I spent the money down, if I didn't plan ahead right. What if I had too much movie or snacks or video games? I worried that I would be accidentally left and stuck at the mall. So I got in the habit of using my left pocket, putting enough money in it for the ride home. I could spend down everything I wanted in my right pocket, down to the last penny if I wanted to, but I would never spend what was in my left pocket. It was always the fare plus a little bit extra, just in case. It was never to be spent until it was dropped into the little metal and glass case next to the bus driver, who would drive me several miles and deliver me a few hundred yards from my home. It was my safety blanket, that little bit of money in my left pocket. It could mean that I went home quickly, easily, safely. And so you can imagine the startle I felt one day after watching the movie Ghostbusters, the original, having some popcorn and playing Pole Position, my favorite race car game, in the arcade. When I stepped aboard the bus, reached into my left pocket, and found the pocket empty. There was no money there. I knew there was no money in my right pocket, but I stepped out of the way of the people behind me, and I checked anyway. I checked my back pockets, my jacket pockets. There was no money anywhere. I had no idea what to do. The line had cleared by then, and the driver was watching me frantically patting my pockets for money. I was ready to wave him on and start the long walk home, knowing that my parents would probably be hesitant to let me go to the mall again, something I really enjoyed. But before the driver could close the door, the last man on the bus, who was standing close to the fare box, looked at me and said, "I got you." He was dressed in jeans and a brown work shirt. I remember thinking that he probably worked maintenance at the mall and was headed home. And he saw and registered the mess I was in, and with a simple, "I got you," he put my fare in the box so I could go home. I said thank you so much to him, to which he replied, "No problem." And he did that smooth, cool guy head nod thing that made him seem really cool to me. He sat down and read a book, and I sat opposite him. We didn't say a word to each other until we reached his stop, which was before mine. As he stood to leave, I said, "Thanks again." He gave another cool guy nod, and that was the first and the last time I ever saw him. But he stayed with me, and he and his "I got you," he got that I was a stuck kid and needed help. He got something had gone wrong somewhere, and I was in a tricky situation. He got that he had a few bucks that could help tremendously, and he parted with that money quickly and with no more of a flash than a head nod. I thought I was independent. He knew I wasn't. Not really. I may have been a kid who could manage a trip to the mall, but there would be times when I would need help getting home, times when I couldn't do it alone, times when I would need the kindness of strangers to get me where I needed to go, safely and with ease. I thought I was independent and would be able to manage that journey and any other journey in my life by myself. He got how wrong that was. And through his actions, he taught me what he got, what he knew, what he had probably learned in innumerable ways over his years, that we are all in this together, that we have to be each other's keepers, that we have to give away the goodness we hold without exception, without reservation, as limitlessly and luminously as possible. His act was an act of ministry, far more alike than unalike, the kind of acts that we as a faith and a congregation create in the world. We too bear witness to fear and confusion. We too see people who find their anticipated journeys through life blocked by obstacles. And unlike whatever happened to me in the mall, those obstacles many times have nothing to do with their own actions. We too know that sometimes things go wrong. And like him, we know life to be an interdependent enterprise, and that we are elementally interconnected with everyone else on the bus, in the mall, in homes, and places everywhere. And we know that if we can help, we should. And we know that sometimes we are not the wise gift giver, but the one in need of the gift. For we have all known the fear and despair and sadness that have caused us to sink down. We have all had obstacles placed before us that we could not move ourselves. We have all worshiped our imagined independence to the point of making it an idol, only to find our pockets or spirits or hearts or hope go empty at the wrong time. And in those anxious moments, we've found again that we're not really in control of our life or even of life itself, that we are not as independent as we thought we were. We know that others have helped us through. There will be times when what gets us through life's most difficult moments is the kindness, compassion, empathy, and love of another. Sometimes of someone we know, sometimes of a stranger along the way. Our faith teaches us to be that giving person, be we friends, families, or strangers in relation to the recipient. Our faith also teaches us to receive those same gifts with gratitude. And everything we do here, every ministry we enliven, is centered in those two expressions of our faith. In our justice ministries, in how we teach our kids, in how we learn together, in the spirit that we create in worship, in the pastoral care we offer one another, in the fellowship that strengthens and connects us. Every ministry here is one in which we give of ourselves and our gifts to the world as others bless and strengthen us. Each act connects us more deeply with one another and the world. Each act builds us anew as people, better able to transform the isolation and fear that is, but ought not to be, into something hopeful and connected. Each act of ministry here strengthens and equips us to live our faith beyond these walls in ways that bless beyond our knowledge. We know that too often in the world, the message is that someone without bus fare is stuck. We know that so often the message is someone who is sad should get over it, or someone who is oppressed should just try harder, or that a victim of anything unjust is to be blamed. And as this happens, people stand before the bus of hope and compassion, frozen in anxiety and fear, unsure of what to do and where to go. And like that stranger of my childhood, our congregation and our faith say to these people standing there, "We got you." Stewardship is our way of saying, "We got you. Your fare has been paid by those who have come before. Come on board, sit down, take a rest. You, the stranger, you, the sad, you, the fearful, you that feels alone. Your fare has been paid by people of faith who built these walls and built these ministries and built this faith of hope and love. Many of them aren't even here anymore. Many have died, and yet their gifts exist in ministries that welcome, strengthen, and bless you. So come here and know love. Come here and know hope. Come here and know that you're not alone. We got you, as others earlier had us. And once you're on the bus and you have your bearings and you have some hope and a sense of your own voice and strength, know that you can get others too. Here in this church, you'll be surrounded by people committed not to reflecting the profanities of the world, but to transforming them into moments of beauty and goodness. You'll be able, with our strength and shared inspiration, to bring others aboard so that they can find warmth and inspiration. Writers who in turn will share that with even more people. You'll be able to, having had your fare paid by those who've come before, pay the fares of those to come. So this place of love and hope welcomes everyone who seeks its comfort, wisdom, and community. Now in particular is a time when people need that. Now is the time people need to be reminded of goodness, hope, and the broad call for justice that never stops sounding, even when the winds of oppression are howling. Now more than ever, people need to be able to lean into the strength and vision of our congregation and faith to find their balance and build their hope so that they can move into a frightening world with faith, courage, and the strength of many. Stewardship in the life of a congregation is about building the church that proclaims this new way of being and practices it. Each gift of every level better equips us to serve more people with our faith. In stewardship, the money that we pledge is really about the hope we will build and the compassion we will share and the love that we will sound into a world polluted by far too many words of hatred. Now more than ever is the time for our congregations and larger faiths, message and ministries to the world. Now is the time for our religious voice to sound over the waters and across the lands. Now, when messages unlike ours dominate the airwaves, is the time for our gospel to be proclaimed from the mountaintops and valley bottoms. Now is the time to pledge to pay someone else's fare, to pledge to pay as many fares as possible, because there are multitudes struggling with fear and isolation. Someone, many people really, years and years ago looked into the future, imagined our lives, and some with elegant words, some with casual head nods, put money down for us. It's our turn to do the same as generously as we possibly can. Each gift calls someone to a place of hope, faith, and love, a place that can strengthen them for the journey and connect them with other travelers. Each gift is a silent head nod or an effusive warm welcome to someone who needs the same gifts we received here and the same gifts we have to offer. Each gift is the fare of someone away from home and a little scared who would be blessed by our digging deep and sharing our faith. May we generously getting others give try that again. May we give generously, getting others as many have gotten us. May we look at the fearful and the lonely, the sad and the imprisoned, those in a strange land unsure of where and what home is, and say, we got you. May it be so.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. World didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, you know that this love that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This pride that I have, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. World didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this pride that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this peace that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have, this joy that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Resistance Revival Chorus believes in the words written by the poet Toy Darracott when she wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." We believe in the words of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who said, "When the movement is strong, the music is strong." We sing to revive the hearts of those who fight for social justice, and we sing together for freedom.
The title of this service is "We Got You." It is really a promise that we have all made to each other by virtue of supporting this congregation with our time, our skills, and frankly, with our money. Like the man on the bus, upon seeing the young boy in distress, when we support this community in any way, we say to each other, "We got you." We may never know who benefits in the future, even as those who came before us didn't know who would benefit from their efforts in building this church community. We also reach out into the wider community with our social action efforts saying, "We got you," to even more folks we may never know. Each year brings new challenges to our church and community. Due to the pandemic, we have had to learn different ways to be with each other. We've had to learn how to function without a minister for a while, and then with a temporary minister to help us build during these times. The worship committee has said, "We got you," helping us to find new ways to conduct church services with and without the help of a minister. Membership, communications, and finance committees have all said, "We got you," by making sure the necessary business of the church moves forward. Many in the congregation have said, "We got you," to their fellow congregants by sharing their life experiences during church services and volunteering in numerous ways at the church and the community. The Board of Trustees has said, "We got you," by tirelessly guiding us forward, most recently by leading the search for a new minister. Hiring a new minister will be so important for bringing us back together in person as the pandemic hopefully continues to decline. We have a very interested candidate for a half-time position as a contract minister. This minister is willing to move to Utica from the Hudson Valley and become part of our community. It's so important for us to be able to financially support this candidate so they can lead us in achieving our mission and vision. The minister also wants to help us restart RE and have a music coordinator again. All these things, of course, require us to be generous with our pledges. One of the ways we all say we got you to each other is our financial pledge. Today is the kickoff for our Stewardship Pledge Drive for the 2022 and 2023 church year, which begins on July 1st. Board of Trustees and Finance Committee have determined that in order to support next year's budget, the pledge drive goal needs to be $85,000, which is about a 4% increase for the amount pledged by our congregation during last year's campaign. This includes the salary and benefits required for bringing in a halftime minister. Pledge package should have been sent out this morning via email to all members and friends who have supported the church in the recent past. The packet includes a letter describing the goals of the campaign and includes ways to submit your pledges. Haven't pledged before and want some guidance on your pledge, we've also included what is called the Fair Share Giving Guide packet. We've also included 2 pie charts from the budget showing the sources of income and our expenses. Please note that nearly 3/4 of the income comes from the pledge drive, and approximately 2/3 of the expenses are for the minister and other personnel. Folks who do not have an email, the pledge package will be sent via post. Anyone does not receive a packet, please contact me or anyone on the Stewardship Task Force, and we will be sure you receive one. Now, as has been our practice in recent years, we've reached out to the leaders of the church, asking them to pledge in advance of this kickoff. I'm pleased to report that so far, 15 of our leaders have pledged a total of $31,100, representing nearly 37% of our goal. That's as of about 8:30 this morning. The campaign will extend for 4 weeks. We ask that you submit your pledge within the first 2 weeks, if at all possible. After that, we will have someone contact you for anyone who has not pledged. We are all here because this community has meaning to us. Please support us with as generous a pledge as you can within your budget. As always, if you pledge and your financial situation changes, you can change your pledge by contacting the financial secretary at any time. Remember, we've all got each other. Thank you.
We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the birds, they tell us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love, to listen to love as a flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the sky, it tells us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love, to listen to love as the children raise all their faces to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace listen to love as the flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one. You will be lifted in grace and love.
Now we extinguish our chalice. Please join in the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of the truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our heart till we meet again.
Now for the benediction. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. As we go forth from this time and place, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen and blessed be.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we go walk it out. And mountains, gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, I'll rise up, I'll rise up for you. You can have all the money in your head, all the possessions anyone could ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. True worth is only measured by what you got in your